Welcome back to my channel. My name is Paige, and today I want to tell you the books that I have currently checked out on Kindle Unlimited. It used to be you could only have 10 books checked out at a time, but they raised the limit up to 20 books, and so these are the 20 books that I have currently checked out. Some of these books I have checked out because they are on my TBR for February, so I do have a few, but the other ones I've just like sometimes if a book sounds really interesting or one that I'm like I want to get to sooner rather than later, I'll put it, I'll check it out on Kindle Unlimited if it's available. Some of these have been on for a really long time. And I'm just such a mood reader, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I kind of forget what they're about, so then I'll just like pass over them for something else. But these, for some rhyme or reason, these are all on my Kindle Unlimited, and I really need just to read all of them. That would be a special kind of fun video to do, reading my books that I have checked out on Kindle Unlimited. But these are the 20 books that I have checked out, so let's go ahead and get started. The first one is Stolen Crush by C.M. Stunich. I have delayed reading this series because she has been writing it. This is one of her newer series, and the final book I think just recently came out, or it's about to come out. So it's the series is almost done, and so now I can read it without having to wait for the next book to release. So this is about a girl who I think finds her like biological family, and I think they're like a serial killer, or her dad's a serial killer, something. She's the daughter of a serial killer. I think that's what it's about. So I'm pretty sure that's what it's about. But it's C.M. Stunich. I really love her books. I've been wanting to read this, but I'm just trying to wait until she published all of the books in the series. So hopefully I will get to this soon. The next one is Real by Kennedy Ryan. This is one of the books I've checked out, not only because it's by Kennedy Ryan, I've had checked out for quite a while, but it's also on my February TBR, so I'm hoping to get to it this month. This has something to do with Hollywood. That's all I know about it. That's all I need to know about it because it's Kennedy Ryan, and I absolutely adore her books. And I'm so excited to get to this one, hopefully soon. The next one is Kiss and Don't Tell by Meghan Quinn. This is a hockey romance, and I did look it up on Goodreads because I knew nothing about it. Sometimes I don't remember what. I'll hear like a recommendation from somebody, and then I'll immediately go check it out, and then I forget what it's about. So this is a hockey romance. He's a hockey player, and the heroine, this is her ex-boyfriend's half-brother. So that sounds really, really intriguing. There's gonna be like a forbiddenness to it because it's her ex-boyfriend's brother. So, plus it's a hockey romance. I love hockey romances, so, and I'm sure there's gonna be quite a bit of humor in it, as Meghan Quinn writes, and I really want to read this one now. I'm sure I'm going to go through all of these books and remember why I wanted to read them. The next one is Ranger by Katie Ray. I don't know where I saw this one, but this was a recommendation because I really like military romances, and I haven't read a lot. The only ones that I've really read are by Susan Stoker, and so this one I saw was recommended by somebody, and I want to read it. It sounds very emotional. He's in the army. He's like a ranger, which is like the Army Special Forces, I believe, and he is and his I don't know, his partner, his like fiance, girlfriend, I don't know what she is to him, but she dies, and so he is having to cope with the loss of her. And so I don't really know where the romance is because the synopsis is kind of vague, but it says that he wants revenge, so I don't know. It sounds very intriguing. The next one is The Stopover by T.L. Swan. I have this one checked out because I know that it's so popular and so highly liked. I know Jen from the book Refuge loves this series, loves this author, and I have been meaning to start the series for freaking ever, but I just always, I think it's kind of like a longer book, and I just always choose something, a little shorter. But this is about a businessman, I think, or like a rich, successful businessman, and he's on this flight, and he meets this girl who was like upgraded to first class. So that's all I know about it, but I know it's very popular and highly liked, so I was very curious about why people like this and was gonna try it out for myself. The next one is Art and Soul by Brittainy C. Cherry. I don't know anything about this one either. It's Brittainy C. Cherry. I don't have to know. I am working my way through all of my favorite authors backlist, and I don't have a lot more to go with Brittainy C. Cherry. And this one, I love the cover. I've always been so intrigued with the cover on this book. It is absolutely gorgeous. And of course I know it's going to be an emotional story because of it's Brittainy C. Cherry. That's what she writes. I know I have this one on my list, you know, on my Kindle, because I am currently working through her backlist. The next one is Brightside by Kim Holden. I've had this on my Kindle for a long time too, but it's just because I haven't gotten to it because I know it's highly, highly emotional. I love emotional stories. An emotional storyline, I think, brings a book much more depth than just, you know, a rom-com. I like rom-coms as well, but I really, you know, that emotional part of it, it touches my soul, and I just feel so much more for a book when there's some kind of emotional aspect to the story. But this one I've heard is like just absolutely heartbreaking, and I can read heartbreaking stories, but I've kind of been afraid of this one, especially because I don't know particularly if there is an HEA, and I'm kind of terrified, but I've heard that it's so good. So this has just been sitting on my Kindle. I'm kind of afraid to read it, but I really want to read it at the same time. And the book that I'm currently reading is Headcase by Onley James. Of course, I have this checked out because I'm reading it. This is the 5th or 4th book in the Necessary Evil series. It's just a doctor who adopted these boys and raised them, and they're psychopaths and they're serial killers, and it is such a fantastic series. I actually was listening to it as I was putting on my makeup today, and I had to pause it to film this, so as soon as I'm done I'm gonna be listening to it again. But so yes, this is on my February TBR, and it's a new release because I have to read them as soon as Onley James releases them because they're just so great. The next one is Dark Glitter by C.M. Stunich. This is her, well actually this is another motorcycle club romance series that she has. I've read her her newest one, but this is like an older story that she has, and so I checked it out on KU because I am also sure C.M. Stunich has a daunting backlist. She has written so many stories, but of course I love motorcycle club romances, and I'm always looking for, you know, another well-written one, and I am curious about her other MC club romance, so I checked it out on KU. The next one is Alaska Wild by Helena Newbury. I actually saw Bree read this book and she didn't love it. I think it was just like okay for her, but she doesn't really like survival romances, but I do. So when I heard her talk about this book, I'm like, oh, that sounds like everything that I love. So I checked it out. Of course I haven't read it yet because I don't know why. There's just so many books. I don't have enough time in my life to read all the books that I want to read. But it's sitting there waiting for me to read it. I really love a survival romance. There's just something about it because they are having to fight for their lives and fight to survive, and they cling to each other because, you know, that's your comfort and strength comes from the other person to try to get through, you know, this really difficult time. And I just love that. I love that they find their strength through their partner and the person they're trying to survive with, which leads to a beautiful romance. Okay, the next one is super, super popular. I wanted to read it back in October, but I didn't get around to doing it, but it's been on my Kindle for that long, and this is Her Soul to Take by Harley Laroux. I don't know what this is about. I think it's like a I'm assuming it's paranormal. I don't know. The cover looks absolutely fantastic. The cover really drew me in. I just haven't gotten around to reading it, but it is definitely high up on my TBR to read. The next one is Drive by Kate Stewart. I don't know anything about this book except that it has like a musical theme. That's because the synopsis is super vague, and I'm kind of afraid because I have really loved books by Kate Stewart and I've really hated books by Kate Stewart, and the reason why I hate them is because she did something that I wish she, like, the story took a turn that I wish it wouldn't have taken. I liked how the book was going before, and I'm sure people who are very well acquainted with Kate Stewart know exactly what I'm talking about. But I have read other books by Kate Stewart that I love too. So I don't know. I've just heard this one being highly recommended, but I'm kind of afraid to read it because I don't want to hate it. But I'm also really intrigued as well. The next one is Change of Heart by Mary Calms. This is also another like paranormal. I think it's paranormal because I've had it on my Kindle like since October, because I was trying just to like read all paranormal romances during that time. But this is a male romance, and I know one of them is like a were-panther, like a panther, you know, of a shapeshifter. And I think it's like a fated mates sort of trope. So I don't know. It sounded really interesting. I've had it on my Kindle for a long time. I need to just read it. The next one is Sweet Home by TILLIE COLE. I'm also working my way through TILLIE COLE's backlist, and this is the next series that I want to begin reading by TILLIE COLE. The first book in this series is about a girl who leaves England and comes to America, to the state of Alabama, to attend university there. And while she's at college, she meets a boy that plays football for the college. I don't know like what position he plays, but this is their romance. I think all the books in the series are sports theme, I think. And this series sounds so intriguing. I just haven't read it yet, of course. I'm gonna say this about every book, I guess. But I do hopefully want to get to this soon because I do love TILLIE COLE's books. The next one I have is The Endless Road to Sunshine by Nicky James. Nicky James is also another author that I really love, and I'm trying to read her backlist as well. But this sounds so intriguing. So this is a male romance, and the hero, this is like an age gap and a student teacher, but he's a professor. He comes to work at this new college because the reason he has moved to this new place and changed his name and all that was because he was married to a serial killer, and they found him and arrested him, and so like his life has just been totally turned upside down because he's been married to this serial killer, and I'm assuming he didn't know. So he has moved to this new place, started a new job at a school, and he has a romance with one of the students, and sounds so intriguing, so forbidden, and of course you know that I love forbidden romances. The next one is A Favor for a Favor by Helena Hunting. I love Helena Hunting. I loved her Pug series so much, and I fell in love with her books through the Pug series. And I started reading the spin-off series. This is actually the second book in the spin-off series, which is the All In series. And the first one I read was A Lie for a Lie. And so I just immediately put the next one on my Kindle to read later. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I am also working my way through Helena Hunting's books. But this is a hockey romance, and that's really all I know about it. But yeah, I love her hockey romances. The next one is also another book that I have on my February TBR, and this is Wait For It by Mariana Zapata. I'm so close to having read Mariana Zapata's entire backlist, and this is on my TBR. But this is about a girl who takes in two boys. I don't know how she acquires them. I don't know if it's from family or a friend, but she all of a sudden has to start raising these two boys. And I think this is the best friend of Luna from Luna and the Lie by Mariana Zapata. So I'm very excited to read this one. I know it's going to be great because I love Mariana Zapata. The next one is Follow Me Back by A.L. Jackson. I don't even remember where I saw this romance recommendation, but I added it to my Kindle, so whenever I heard about it. But this is about a doctor. He's like an ER doctor, and he meets this girl who works at a coffee shop, and I really don't know much more about it other than that. So I don't really know what compelled me to add this to my Kindle, but maybe I'll read it soon and figure out why. The next one is Blindsided by Amy Daws. I actually added this to my Kindle this morning. I took off, I think I had, oh, it was Hush by Liza James, which is the second book in that series, the Pandora Box series. I need to read the second one, but I actually took that one off so I could add Blindsided, because I stayed up really late last night because I'm watching the Olympics, and I was trying to wake myself up. My alarm kept going off. I kept hitting snooze, and so I picked up my phone and I saw this excerpt from the book Blindsided by Amy Daws, and I was instantly hooked. I'm like, I've got to read this book soon. Plus, I know that Bree has recently read this book and this whole series, I think, recently, and she really liked it. So I don't know. I just loved the excerpt that I read from that book. So this scene that I read was they're in bed and she turned the lights off, and he asked her why she turns the lights off, and she said, well, it's more romantic. He said, no, it's not, because, you know, then I can't see you. And she's like, well, it's better that way, because she's insecure about herself. And he says, no, because then, you know, this is you, and I want to be with you for, you know, exactly who you are. And I automatically went to my Kindle to to borrow the book. So anyway, I am looking forward to reading this one even more now. And the last book I have checked out on Kindle Unlimited is The Gift by Rilsey Adams. I have read a duet by Rilsey Adams before, and I want to read more books by her because the duet that I read was absolutely beautiful. But this book is about a guy, I believe from the synopsis that I read, I believe they're married and they're asking her sister to be a surrogate for them, but then I think something tragic happens. So I don't know, I just kind of briefly skimmed over it, and it sounded absolutely amazing, and I added it to my Kindle. I hope to get to it soon because I've only read one other romance book that had a surrogate, and it was very, very interesting and well done, and so I'm really looking forward to reading this as soon as possible as well. So those are all the 20 books that I have checked out on Kindle. Let me know what you think about these books. Let me know if you think I should read them or not, or what you like about them or don't like about them. Let me know. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.